Hi everyone, I'm Ellie from Code of the Future, and I'm going to be showing you how to create a nice setup in Spyder, which is installed with the package Anaconda, which if you've watched my first video on how to install Anaconda and PyCharm and Visual Studio Code, then you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, then go watch that video. But today we're just going to show you how to get a very nice setup in Spyder. Okay, so as I mentioned in the first video where I teach you how to install Anaconda, your setup should look something similar to this. So I've touched upon how to get a nice setup in PyCharm and Visual Studio Code. So if you're preferring, if you want to start coding on those, then it's worth checking out those videos. I will be doing a lot of Python related videos in PyCharm. That's the one that I'm going to predominantly use throughout these tutorials. But for today, I'm just going to show you how to get up a nice setup in Spyder as well, because some of you may have already touched upon Spyder and may be comfortable with that. So we're just going to click launch, and this is then going to open Spyder up for us. Okay, so you see down here that Spyder is starting to load. You click on it, it comes up with this. Okay, right. Loads and loads of things have just popped up. So, Anaconda would like to access your files in desktop folder, that's absolutely fine. And documents folder, that's absolutely fine. And downloads folder, that's absolutely fine. In essence, what that means is it just wants to access the folders in those files in case you want to input a folder. So that would just basically be like, say if you have a folder with some things in it that you want to open up in Spyder, then that's what it means. It just means it can access them. So here's a Spyder 4.1.5 is available, which means I can upload Spyder 4.1.5, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to click OK and move on, because I just want to show you how to get a nice setup first. So I'm just going to click dismiss on this bit. So this is Spyder. Now, if you've watched my videos on PyCharm and Visual Studio Code, you'll probably think this looks like a very different setup. And it is in essence, but also it's perfect for beginners, because this is what I originally learned on, just because it does a few different things at once. I personally prefer PyCharm, and I think if you can learn how to code on PyCharm, it would be a lot better for your future endeavours. But Spyder is just as good as well. So what I'm going to show you now is just how to get a nice setup in Spyder. So we're going to go into Python at the top, we're going to go into preferences. Now when you click preferences, a big thing like this pops up. Now if you want to change the appearance of your screen and want to make it bigger, you can just click here. Now this should generally pop up, and you click set custom DPI scaling. DPI. This was basically what my lecturers used to do all the time, just so we could actually see what they were coding when they had it on the big lecture screen. So to show you how to change the font size and things like that, I'm just going to change it back to normal, and we're just going to apply to normal, just so it's a little bit easier for you to see what we're doing. So I'm just going to restart it again. See, this is why, Spyder's great, but when you want to start changing things, you have to do a lot of restarting, unlike PyCharm and Visual Studio Code. So we're going to go into Python, and we're going to go into preferences. Now we're going to go into appearance. As you can see, this is all kind of back to a nice scale now. It's not too much, it's not gone too crazy. But this whole DPI scaling is if you want your whole screen a lot bigger, a lot easier for you to read. It does have some drawbacks. Obviously, when things start popping up, they're absolutely massive. But I just thought I'd show you how to do that if some people prefer it like that. So we're just gonna run preferences now. So we're gonna go into appearance, and this is essentially the whole appearance of your setup. So here on the syntax highlighting theme, you can change what kind of setup you want. So I have it Spyder dark, but we could just change it to this. I have no idea what that does, but it tells you here on the side. That's kind of what it'll go like. Which is what I quite like in Spyder, is that it does actually give you a bit of a preview before you do it. So that's what that one looks like. You can change to that, it goes a bit green or whatever colour that is. I'm just going to keep it Spyder dark. So that's how you change the appearance and the colour and the setup of everything. There are ones that do it so that it's just white, like that one there, but I just go back to Spyder dark. And then you can reset it to the default as well. You can create a new colour scheme, all sorts of things like that. Now this section here is how you change the font size, which is what I'm trying to show you today. So as I start increasing this, say it's 20, and I click apply, you'll notice this section here, once it loads, it goes bigger. And obviously now this has gone bigger as well. Now rich text, if we go and click apply, up here, changed as well. So this is just essentially, instead of doing the whole, as in the general bit, the DPI scaler, you can just simply change the font size. A lot easier to do that. I just thought I'd show you the DPI just as an extra little tip. I'd probably avoid using DPI, to be honest, but we'll just stick with changing font size this way. So there we have it. That is how you will change your font size. And also again here you can change the style, so you can Courier new if that's what you fancy, and then it'll show you what that's like once you click apply. Again, Spyder does have a couple of drawbacks. It does take a bit of time compared to PyCharm, but again, look, it's changed the font, and you can do the exact same thing here as well. So that is how you change the appearance, size, the font style, the colour, all things like that to get you a nice setup in Spyder. So we're just going to click cancel here because we don't really want to apply any of the new things that we did. What I'm now just going to show you is how to create a file. So obviously you can see here that this has popped up. Now this is where your file is. So this is the file here, temp.py. If you want to create a new file, simply you can just click Command N, or you can go to the top and click File and click New File, and then that will create a whole new file here, which as you can see is just untitled0.py. What's great about Spyder is that it automatically knows you're working in Python, obviously because at the top you can see it as Python, and everything in Spyder works through Python, so it automatically saves your files with the .py. Now what .py means is that it's a Python file, just like if it was a PDF file it would be .pdf, or if it was a document it would be .doc. So that's what the .py means. It just means it's a Python file, which means then if you were to go run it and you had some code in there, it would recognize it as a Python file. Now if you want to save this, we'll just, you know, the standard is Command Save or Control Save depending on what laptop you're on, but we're just going to click File, Save, and here we can just save it as anything. So I can call it File1, and we'll save that. At the moment it's just saving it under Ellie-Slyton, which means it's not really in a nice place. The way that I quite like to do it is by creating a new folder and moving everything into there. So I'm just going to move it into my documents, which means then I know exactly where it is. So I'm going to click save. Obviously there's nothing really in this Python file. We're not learning how to code just yet, but I'm just going to show you how to save and find Python files in Spyder. So what you'll notice is we've saved this Python file, file1.py, into our documents, and then when you click on documents, it's here. So it's a lot better to kind of navigate where you are sending your Python files, and also it's also great to kind of add a folder as well if you want to move it into a folder. So that's how you save and locate a Python file. Say if you have a specific Python file that you want to open and run in Spyder, all you're going to do is you're going to click File and Open, and then it'll run through. You'll just find it on here. So on my desktop I've got PyCharm here, and we've got file 1, file 2, main, things like that. So we're just going to go, we'll just open file 2. We don't really need it, but we're just going to open it anyway. It's an empty file. So that is how you track down a Python file within your laptop. Very, very simple stuff. Most of this stuff at the moment, because I haven't taught you how to code just yet, may seem a bit confusing, but as soon as we move on to how to code, it will make a lot more sense. But for now, this is just Spyder, how to get a nice setup. Again, changing the font style, size, appearance, and saving and locating Python files within your laptop. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then please like, subscribe and comment, and I will see you all in the next video.